many fucking headshots. So many fucking headshots. So many fucking headshots. So many headshots.
Well, hello, my little Santa-sucking reindeer taints. This is Joe Cowher, Commissioner of the So Many Headshots Fantasy Football. I come to you live with the 2023 playoff preview. Now, before I get into it, can we just talk about Eric's mustache really quick? I mean, like, this year, actually, it's been 10 years since, like, I left McCooney. Like, 10 years and a few weeks, I guess. But yeah, Eric's married now. He's like a barber, and he just has this great mustache. And I mean, like, it's giving off like Mariota mustache vibes kind of thing. And you know, Eric was probably one of the most handsome guys that works at McCooney. He was right up there with like Cabral, I guess. And I mean, technically, Cabral and I never worked with each other, so I think Eric, that puts him in the top spot just because I never actually worked with Cabral. There was Kyle 3.0, but I mean, he was only a busser before he got discovered or whatever. And so Eric, he started as a busser and worked his way up to the tipping top, and he's just like flourishing, living his best life and stuff. So I don't know. It's just, it's pretty cool, I guess. And then another thing before I get into it, I had this cat 10 years ago, and I gave it to, or actually, it was his ex-girlfriend's cat, and it was, remember that girl Sarah I dated at McCooney? It was her cat, and then she just, like, left it when she moved out, and it was fucked up. I mean, like, God, I learned, like, valuable lessons from that, like, never date a coworker or anything, and, like, it sucks to say that, like, I never put my dick in crazy ever again after that, because that is very much not true. I learned that in life after that there was actually crazier out there. But anyway, so she left this cat. I had the cat for a while, and then when I moved to the Bay Area, I was like, I don't know if I want two cats. Gave them to my Uncle Chuck. And then last week, Gary finally passed away. It was very sad. Like, Uncle Chuck's telling me about it, and he's just, like, very stoic, and I'm just like, why? So yeah, and it just sucks. Like, I had the cat so long ago that, like, I spent probably the last half an hour going through, like, hard drives and Dropbox, like, accounts and stuff to try and find a photo of this cat. Don't have a photo of it. And so, Garrett, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry I haven't seen you in 10 years. I'm sorry you died. Like, may he rest in peace. Yeah, but anyway, so 2023 season has been just wild so far. I know I say that every year, but it's just been, like, wild, like, whatever. And so, I mean, there's been like a ton of starting quarterbacks last year, and it may seem like it's been the most ever, but I don't think it's actually even eclipsed last year's numbers, because I think it was like almost 70 last year. But there's been a lot of starters going out this year, like a lot of just like bona fide dudes. And like usually when we see teams like switching up starting quarterbacks, it's usually because they're just like shitty teams that are trying to like shake things up and stuff. I have no idea if that's actually the case or anything. This is a very not very heavily researched take, but yeah, so I have no idea if that's accurate. But I mean, here's a list of like the starters that were like starters going and that have just gone down like for the rest of the season this year. I mean, they got Rodgers. Does Daniel Jones count? I guess he counts because he got like a big deal this year. We got Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Anthony Richardson. That's another one where it's like, I mean, he was the starter. I think if he had stayed healthy, there's no question that he would have been the starter the entire year. Jimmy G, I mean, he did get injured, but then he just got benched because, like we've seen, that Jimmy G's, and if it's not in the right system, then Jimmy G kind of sucks. And then we had like Kenny Pickett, and the latest is Herbert, broken finger, just in time for fantasy playoffs. And if you were riding that Keenan Allen train, like the train may have, I don't want to say left the station, but something happened to the train. Fun fact, I took the train last week back from Portland to Sacramento, and there's this like crazy like meth head lady kind of looking thing, like where she got on, you're just like, oh, that's going to be something. And just like progressively throughout the time she was on the train, she's got like crazy where people are like accusing her of stealing shit and all this kind of stuff. And then I was talking to this guy in the snack cart. He was like, "Oh, did the lady get kicked off yet?" I'm like, "No. What has she done now?" He's like, "She's running around with her pants down on, like, yelling like active shooter on like a fucking train." So in this metaphor, Keenan Allen is that lady. And then with all these new starting quarterbacks, I think, there was the Pastronaut, which was like a really fun story, but I think Tommy Cullins has to take the cake for like the most like funny, exciting, best memeable thing of the year, just because it's just like, it's one of those, it's like a Cinderella story, but he's just like a guy from like New Jersey or something, and like his fucking agent and everything. It's hilarious. Like I don't have any good jokes here. As you can tell, I'm very rusty. This is like the first time I've done one of these in like a year. At least I have the camera on a tripod. I was too lazy to get out the lights, but I did tripod it up for you. And so as season's gone on, the NFC, like the top of the NFC has kind of just been set for most of the year. I mean, like the Eagles, like at one point were the last undefeated team. They were 10-1 up until a couple weeks ago. But like the AFC has been like a bloodbath, but it's like not like a bloodbath in like, oh, there's all these like really good teams. It's just like a lot of teams that are supposed to be good, like haven't been good, and then like just random shit like just keeps like fucking them up. Like we've kind of seen the wheels fall off of like the Chiefs like bus, I guess you could say, but it's just like they have like one of the worst like receiving rooms in the game. It's like not as bad as like Carolina or anything like that, but I mean Kadarius Toney himself has lost them like 2 fucking games this year. Like that's crazy. Like, it's just like the offsides thing. It was just like, it was funny seeing Patrick Mahomes just like flip out. It's just like, dude, calm down. How many Super Bowls? Like he's been in like 3 Super Bowls already, 3 Super Bowls already. Anyway, so it's like kind of silly, but it's just Dolphins, they've been really fun to watch. And I mean, but who have they beaten? Like they beat the Broncos by 50, which was just crazy. Because, like the first part of the season, I was still in Europe. So like waking up to like seeing some of these scores, it was just like nutty. It was really great to see it happen to the Broncos because like fuck Russell Wilson, fuck Sean Payton. And as much as I hate the Broncos just in general and Russell Wilson, I don't really hate Russell Wilson. I just don't care for him that much. Sean Payton's a douche though. But it's been really crazy to see what the Broncos have done, like starting out 1-5 and then just like Broncos country, let's ride. And then, but the number 1 seed right now is the Ravens. And the Ravens have been really good. They're like 10-3 or whatever, but just like everybody says, yeah, the Ravens, but then nobody cares to talk about the Ravens. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then what the fuck are the Bills? Like, I don't get it. 2 head coaches have been fired already this season. The first one was Josh McDaniels. Not surprising there. The dude is just, it was Josh McDaniels. Like, fuck that guy. And then, like, they fired Frank Reich. And he did, like, he's the first coach ever to get fired in back-to-back seasons. And it's, like, David Tepper is just terrible. I know, like, Dan Snyder got, like, finally lost the Commanders this year or whatever. And David Tepper, but just since he's been in there, it's just, like, he's been terrible. He's just such a fucking idiot. And, like Robert Kraft, like, if you take Robert Kraft, for example, look, like, the hand job thing is, like, it's not even that bad. I guess it might have been illegal, but yeah. And then there's the Niners.
You still playing, boy? Hey, you still playing? We gonna slow you down. Hey, that good 5 reps you got, boy. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see that 5 reps. Over here, baby. I can't wait to see that 5 reps.
Look, the Niners are good. Like, we all know, you know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. There's not really enough to talk. But can we just talk about Fred Warner? Just seems like the most delightful person ever. Like, I don't know if he's Mormon, and I was going to Google this before I made this video, but I don't know if he's actually Mormon because he played at BYU or whatever. But I think, he's just one of those guys where he just seems so nice. It's really cool. Like, that's about all the analysis I have up until this point. So let's go to the matchups. All right. Bay, Arizona. You guys are really benefiting from the fact that I usually go through the matchups of the other league before I do this one. So I'm a little bit more warmed up. I'm still like rusty as fuck, and there's like this lens flare that's just like really bothering me. But you know, fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah, so going into week 14, there's a lot on the line. Like the first two spots with Hot Trash and Dr. Disrespect. Chris, get a new team name. I mean, you're just like ripping off some other thing you found on the internet. But anyway, those two spots were already locked up. So there's 5 teams going for the last 4 spots, and it really did come down to the wire for the most part. It was really good to see. I was very nervous because, you know, I think last year was the first year I ever made the playoffs, and then this year with the whole auto draft thing. And you know, like, for those who complain, Steven, about auto drafting, okay, first off, it's on the commissioner to just make sure that the entire league can make the draft. And so that's not my fault. And I wasn't going to like go asking French if I could have the night off because I have a fantasy football draft that I really need to attend on like a Monday night or whatever stupid shit that it was. But yeah, so shit's like, it's arguably hard because I can't, you know, I can set my pre-draft rankings and then that's it. And you know, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, going into this week, I was very nervous just because, you know, in the 10 years or however long I've been it's almost been 10 years. I think it was like 2015 maybe that I joined the league. But in the 10 years or like however many years I've been in this league, I made the playoffs for the first time last year. I mean, everything was breaking in the way where it's just like, yeah, it's just like another year just not making the playoffs. But anyway, so yeah, looking at the matchups, we could just get mine out of the way. We had me versus Corey's Combusters, and this is why like I thought there was the fantasy football gods were very much just like, Joe, you're not in, just deal with it. Yeah, me versus Corey Fun Lovers, 65 to 102. Not really much to say here, just because of the fact that I started Josh Dobbs, and I mean, yeah, that's really all there is to go there. Then we had Dr. Disrespect versus Ski Yee. 120 to 86. Once again, not a lot of talk there. It was first place versus I think 9th place going into the week. But yeah, Steven secured the last place spot for the consolation bracket. Then we had Richard's team versus Nick the Dick. This was a bigger one because basically everybody that was like possibly going to get into the playoffs, I just wanted everybody to lose. I was playing Corey, obviously, so it was impossible for everybody to lose, including myself. But yeah, Richard pulling out the win, 113 to 92. Richard no longer is in last place. Congratulations there. Then we had Hot Trash versus My Team Blows. Hot Trash lost at 91 to 113. Wow, that's really crazy because Richard, there was only a point difference between that game and Richard's matchup with Nick the Dick. But yeah, so basically with Pete's victory here, punched his ticket to get into the playoffs. And that brings us to the marquee matchup of the week where Jess, of all teams, where I guess Jess never was technically in last place, but Jess's teams are usually pretty bad, except she's won the league and I haven't. So I don't understand the world anymore. But dang, 80 to 73, it was like the battle of like little people or something, or like little, I don't know. But yeah, it was rough. I know that I would have lost to both of those teams this week, but it was still pretty rough. But yeah, 80 to 73, knocking Flem out of the playoffs. And so that really set everything. So yeah, in first place, we got Dr. Disrespect, then we got Hot Trash, Corey's Fun Lovers, Nick the Dick, me, and Pete. Looking at the matchups for the playoffs this week. Sorry. So yeah, Dr. Disrespect, Hot Trash getting the buys. Then we have me versus Nick the Dick. And then Corey's Fun Lovers versus My Team Blows. Consolation quarterfinal, everybody gets a bye because we're in a stupid 10-man. Can we either do like... Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck. I'm out.
So many fucking headshots. So many fucking headshots. So many fucking headshots. So many headshots.